So, I was looking for, say, 2 years interviewing people. I know she had great training and seemed to be, really nice. You get to know each other and you make sure you're on the same wavelength. For a year, she was an employee, and then the idea was if things were working, that she could buy in and be a partner. So we're equal partners now.
Hello, and welcome to Beauty in the Biz, where we talk about the business and marketing side of plastic surgery. I'm your host, Catherine Maley, author of Your Aesthetic Practice, What Your Patients Are Saying. And my latest book is the Plastic Surgery Practice Playbook that you might want to get a hold of. And I'm also a consultant to plastic surgeons to get them more patients and more profits. Now, today's special guest is Dr. Jonathan Pontell. He's a facial plastic surgeon and founder of the Aesthetic Facial Plastic Surgery Center, serving the mainline suburbs of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and South New Jersey, and he's been practicing there for 26 years. Now, Dr. Pontell received his medical degree at Jefferson Medical College, his residency in otolaryngology head and neck surgery at the State University of New York Health Science Center in Brooklyn, and then a fellowship in facial plastic and reconstructive surgery at Mount Sinai Medical Center in New York. Now, he also served 3.5 years as director of facial plastic and reconstructive surgery at Tripler Army Medical Center in Hawaii, where he trained surgical residents and medical students. Now, he's received several top doc awards and donates his services as part of the AAF-PRS's face-to-face program for victims of domestic violence, as well as Faces of Honor program that provides pro bono surgery for injured veterans and active duty members. Dr. Pontell, thanks so much for joining me on Beauty in the Biz.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So please, I know you've been around for a minute, so you don't have to start completely from the beginning, but your journey to private practice is what I love. How did you go from that kind of bureaucratic setting and then off on your own?
Yeah. So, like you said, I was in Hawaii for 3.5 years, and I was the chief of facial plastic surgery. We had a residency program, so we were training residents. We were getting lots of referrals from the dermatology department, and we had a really good relationship with them. And so I figured, I was leaving the military, that would be a really good way to get into practice, is to have a relationship with the dermatology group. So I sent letters out to a bunch of big dermatology groups, and they were interested, and it worked out as a really good way to start, where they got me started in practice. Um, yeah, yeah. Basically, my first day on the job, I was booked. So that was it was a good way to start.
And is this in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, yeah.
So how do you go from Hawaii to Pennsylvania? Are you from there, I'm assuming?
No, I grew up in northern New Jersey, but it was a challenge from Hawaii getting a job back on the East Coast. I flew back and forth a whole bunch of times,
Mm.
so had some serious jet lag for a little while. But no, it worked out.
I'm just thinking about the weather. My gosh, that's a big difference. So now did you then go into private practice? How long were you practicing with that derm group before you said, okay, I'm going to do my own thing?
So about, say, 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then did you immediately rent an office, buy a building? How did you enter the marketplace?
Well, it was a little complicated. The derm group decided that I was doing better relatively than they were. And so it got a little complicated. So it was kind of a spur of the moment thing. But basically, I sublet space from actually another derm group, and was with them for maybe 4 more years. And then I went out on my own completely. But I was separate at that point. I
Yeah.
just in the same building with a large derm group.
And so now you went out. Now, did you get your own building? The building you're in right now. Can you just explain that location because that had to have been strategic?
Yeah, yeah. So it's basically in the center of the mainline suburbs of Philadelphia. So the mainline suburbs are the wealthy suburbs of Philadelphia, and Lancaster Avenue is the street that goes right through that whole area of towns. And we're kind of right in the center of that group of towns, right on Lancaster Avenue. So we've really good visibility. And we get patients who just come in because they see us from the street. There are other businesses around us, and people go to this other business and they say, oh, I was thinking about getting a rhinoplasty or a facelift. And so some people just show up because of our location. So it's definitely valuable.
There's so much to be said for the street, what's it called, street view, or um, if you can get that kind of thing, because when you're hidden away on the 13th floor of a 20 floor, medical center, that's difficult. You've got to market the heck out of that for people to find you there. But if
Yeah.
you have that street cred, as they say,
Yeah.
it's so funny. I don't know. I've been to Pennsylvania several times, and everyone always talks about the main line. And I said,
Yeah.
what is this main line thing? And they said, it's the high end area. So
Yeah, yeah, they're beautiful towns. They're old towns. They're homes that are, between 100 and, even 150 years old, even older, some homes from revolutionary times. But it's just a beautiful historic area. And yeah, great suburbs, really good schools, and it's really pretty.
do you, as a facial plastic and reconstructive surgeon, are you still doing recon?
No, I mean, occasionally I'll get a patient that I did basically for the last maybe 20 years, haven't been doing any recon. But I'll get a patient from 20 years ago who I did a Mohs repair on who has another skin cancer and wants me to do it again. So occasionally we'll do another one, but it's really rare.
You almost have to make that decision. It's so hard to dabble in both. So good for you.
Yeah.
But now, something I really wanted to talk with you about, which is a success story, because I don't always hear this. You brought on an associate, and then I want to talk about how you two found each other, and then your experience, and how's it going.
Yeah, yeah. So, I was looking for, say, 2 years interviewing people, and I just happened to go to a meeting, a plastic surgery meeting at Bryn Mawr Hospital, which is one of the hospitals real close by. And I met Dr. Wang, Catherine Wang, and we just talked for a brief time at the meeting. But I liked her, and I know she had great training and seemed to be, really nice. And so I called her and we talked about it. And she was interested in leaving. Kind of, she was in a practice that was part ENT, part facial plastic surgery. And she wanted to do all facial plastics, and this was a way for her to do that, and it was a way for me to have an associate and then eventually partner.
Wow. How did you two figure out? I personally, I think this is about values. You have to share the same values and vision. How did
Yeah,
you figure that out?
I mean, you get to know each other and you make sure you're on the same wavelength. Yeah, I think it's just we had a bunch of meetings, and it didn't happen in a week where we signed a contract, but over a couple of months. Again, we decided that we liked each other and we were on the same wavelength. And, she wanted to be in this type of practice and I wanted to have someone else in my practice. So it just worked out for everybody.
And did she come in as an employee, a contractor? How did she come in?
Yeah, as an employee for a year, she was an employee. And then the idea was if things were working, that she could buy in and be a partner. So we're equal partners now.
Equal partners. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then how do you divvy up the leads?
And basically, patients call the office and the ladies tell the patients what the options are, that they can see Dr. Pontell, who's been in practice for, 20 or 30 years now, and Dr. Wang, who's been in practice for about 10 years. And we have different pricing too, which is significant. Obviously I have more experience than Dr. Wang, so my prices are a bit higher. So that's a way for patients to, differentiate. But patients are given the option to see either of us. Occasionally someone will call and they just want to see me or they just want to see her. And obviously that works. It's completely up to the patients. All options are available. So
What I like about that two-tiered pricing is it's not just the pricing, it's also the availability and the experience. And now you can cater to all sorts of patients on the spectrum, like those who want
yeah,
the absolute, like let's say the aging face. They really want somebody who's very skilled and experienced. Like you have done 4,000 facelifts, like they'll pay extra for that.
right,
And also some of them, they just it's all about price, or a lot of it, more of it's about price and they just want a rhino. And especially
right.
patients can be so price sensitive. I love when you do that because you can cater to both. It'll run into trouble later on when she feels more experienced and she feels, so that might cause trouble later. But right now, I just think that's a perfect way to do this. Everyone keeps their egos in check and it's just for
Yeah.
the good of the practice.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I have no idea. Before Dr. Wang came, we had one price. So I have no idea how many patients were leaving, not doing surgery with us because of my price. But now there's another option. So it's good.
And two very different personalities. You have the younger Asian female, the
Right.
you, I love that. Like you just have more options there now in your practice. So
Yeah.
congratulations for you. Now, what I always hear is like a big challenge in the practice is staff, like trying to keep everyone happy.
Yeah.
Any tips on hiring, firing, motivating staff?
Oh, wow. I mean, for me, when I've had to hire people, thankfully I haven't had to do it all that much. We have people stay a long time, but I think it's just, getting to know people and making sure you like them and they're nice people and that they're smart and they understand customer service and that, patients don't have to come to us and we have to, make them feel comfortable and be nice to them and accommodating and, you know, um, but I think when you meet somebody, you kind of know pretty quickly, if it's someone that's going to work, or someone's not going to work. Especially if it's, a front desk person, an OR tech personality may not be as important. It still is very important, but not as important as the person who greets somebody. Um, but yeah, I think you can determine pretty quickly if someone is nice and friendly and, going to be an asset.
Not everyone has that gut sense. Not everyone. Um, did you grow up with a lot of women?
I had my mom, I had a brother. No, not especially large number of women.
Well, good for
No.
you because you've had staff for a long time. Good for you. You're absolutely right though. I always hire for personality first,
Yeah,
and then although intellect is really helpful too.
sure.
But I would start with personality, then intellect, and the rest you can train.
Yep,
It's not that difficult. We're not doing rocket science here, although we are doing clinical, but that's your part. You know,
yep,
I want everyone else to do the customer service part and make that patient feel
yep,
good. Then you do your part, and make that patient feel reassured.
sure.
They're going to get a good result. So, good for you. Running a solo practice, what would you say is the biggest challenge?
So, obviously every single, issue that arises is your responsibility. You know, um, Being able to go away and have somebody cover the practice, it can be a challenge if you're in solo practice. It's great now having Dr. Wang. When I go away, she's there. And when she goes away, I'm there. We cover for each other. So I was never, all the years I've been here, I was never able to not go away because I couldn't find somebody to cover. But it's different having an outside doc who's, a colleague covering, as opposed to someone in your practice who you can, introduce the patient to and they feel comfortable and you feel comfortable. It's just so much nicer having, that continuity of care.
Have you taken a lot more time off now that she's on board?
Yeah, 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 absolutely, absolutely.
Good for you. And give me one big mistake you made that others can learn from.
I could have engaged you earlier in my practice and
Thank
learned
you.
some things earlier. You like that answer?
Yeah.
No,
Please
it's
go,
true.
go on. No.
It's true. No, um, no. I mean, we've learned a lot from having you, advise us. And if I would have done it sooner, that would have been better.
Hello, it's Catherine with a quick announcement. My new book, Beauty in the Biz, the Plastic Surgery Practice Growth Playbook, is at the printer. Now, it's based on 175 interviews with top plastic surgeons across the country, what they're doing differently to convert more, retain more, and profit more. You can pre-order a copy of the book at beautyandthebizbook.com. Now, back to the show. And thanks for the plug, by the way. And I'm just going to say, that's a problem for all of us. What we don't know is what costs us the most time, money, and hassle because we just don't know any better. You know how they say
Right,
the the mindset that got you into this solution or situation, it can't be the same mindset to get you out of it. And
right.
just having somebody come in with a much different perspective, they don't
Yeah,
have your biases, your beliefs. I have
yep,
always turned to outside counsel for me because I can't see my own blind spots. And
yeah,
it's just so true. And everyone says, oh, but it's so much money. And why am I going to do this? And I think you're going to do it to get out of your own head.
yeah.
You want to grow, you know?
Yep.
Anyway, let's talk about marketing because you're also, because the main line is a very popular place, it also has a lot of demand, but it also has a lot of supply and is pretty
Yeah.
darn competitive there. Is there anything you're doing to differentiate yourself from the others?
Um, I mean, we try and give, very personalized care. We try and be incredibly nice and available for patients. I give every patient my cell phone number so that they, feel that, they can always have access. Rarely is it abused.
Can I just say about the cell phone? It is such a counterintuitive thing. The surgeons always say, "I'm not giving out my cell phone because they're going to be calling me." And I said the irony is, usually they're so reassured that they just want it, but they're not going to use it. How many times have you ever had to use, or have they called you?
Yeah, it's not often, but I mean, my reasoning is that they're going to call the answering service and they don't have your cell phone number, and you're going to get a call. So no matter what, you're going to get a call.
Right.
It's never really had a problem with it, and I think it's just a positive thing.
It's so reassuring to a patient knowing that you
Yeah,
care enough to give them your cell phone. Frankly, I think it's a marketing strategy that works for everybody. And don't be afraid of it because you'll get more business from it than you will ever get the hassle of actually somebody using it. That's how I
yeah,
look at it. Let's talk about marketing because you have two very distinct demographics typically. You have the aging face, which is usually the older female, some male, and then the younger rhino, who's usually female and male. How do you market to both those groups so differently?
yeah. I mean, just as far as the website goes, I think videos are huge. So we try and have videos. Patients having their casts removed after rhinoplasty for younger people. And we try and get testimonial videos and even kind of, yeah, just videos that follow the course of someone before surgery, even a little bit during surgery and after surgery with facelifts. Yeah, I think the videos are huge because they really talk to people and people say, yeah, that looks like me, and I can see what someone went through, and you see that they had a good experience. So I think videos are huge, just directed at the different demographics.
Didn't you have a video go viral?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Some of the rhinoplasty cast removal videos have gone viral. Yeah, yeah. And I don't know why one more than another.
I know. You'll never
Yeah,
know. But you had one that was something like 583,000 people
yeah, yeah,
watched a cast removal or
yeah,
like the rhino reveal. And
yeah,
in your head, you're like, oh my God, everyone has seen this a million times. It doesn't matter. Not everybody. There are what, 350 million just here in the US. Not everybody
yeah,
saw it. And they'll also get fascinated over things like you prepping for surgery by like how you wash your hands, like those kind of things. The craziest things go viral that you wouldn't expect.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So the videos are very helpful. On your website, is it because it's so hard because when you're trying to say I'm a specialist, and nowadays, God, some people want you to be like an ultra specialist, like you only do
right,
nose or you only do
yeah,
face. And then I think, well, then should you have two different websites? Like I don't know what the answer is other than maybe at the website, Rhino goes this way, face goes this way, and then
yeah,
their own
yeah.
experiences.
Yeah, I think specializing in facial plastic surgery, I think that's enough of a specialty. Yeah, I think it's enough.
Yeah. Any marketing channels you're using other than, like, I know you use Instagram, some YouTube. Are you
Right.
on TikTok?
No, no, no.
Okay, we'll work on that.
Okay.
So, the rhino patients definitely need you on TikTok, yeah, for sure. But anything else are you doing? Like, you've done a really good job with magazines locally. You don't need to be in Newsweek, You've done a very good job in Pennsylvania. Yeah, can you
Yeah,
talk about that
we're
a bit?
not doing a whole lot of magazine advertising now. I mean,
Okay.
it's more digital, internet, now. Um, but yeah, yeah.
Has it been helpful to do any community activities, like go speak at the golf club or something? Any of
Yeah,
that?
I think actually I tell it to Dr. Wang a lot. A lot of the, groups that I'm involved with, just, socially, religious organizations, that's been huge. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you meet people, you have friends, you do a facelift on a friend, and all of a sudden her friends are your patients. And you get friends from these, organizations that you belong to. So I think that's huge.
I call it the long tail patient because you do one of them and you either get their son now for the rhino and then, or you get the rhino patient's mom for the
Yeah.
facelift and
Yeah.
you get them and all of their, not all, they live in a circle of people who are very similar in
Right.
like-mindedness to them.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that also just goes like viral locally,
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
just getting into certain communities.
Absolutely.
It just is so, it's strategic, but it's also helpful to be authentic. Like you really, like you happen to
All right.
golf and you really do like to golf, and
Yep.
you get to know the guys and then you go to the social events where the females are, the wives are with
Yeah.
them. And I
Yeah.
just think that makes a big difference, but it's a hassle, it's your evening, your downtime, but that's marketing.
I would say it's not a hassle because a lot of these are things I just enjoy doing. I
Oh,
mean, I meet people on the golf course. I meet people at social events that I enjoy going to, at religious events that I enjoy going to. So that's not even, it's just you get to know people and they become your patient. They trust you, they like you, and they become your patient, if they're interested in your services.
the girlfriend telling the other girlfriend, "Oh my God, you have to go see Dr. Pontell.
Yeah.
He did a great job." It's like, there's nothing better than a straight shot, a referral from one
Absolutely.
human to another human, especially
Yep.
if you've done work on them and they love it and they say,
Yep.
"I'll tell you where I got it."
Absolutely.
So you've also done a really good job with reviews. You have 312 reviews at 4.9. And I know that probably bugs the heck out of you, but I think that's so much more authentic than 5. I do not believe you can have
Yeah.
hundreds of reviews that are all 5. I'm just going to tell you, as a consumer cosmetic patient, I don't believe it.
Well, I agree. I agree. It's not possible. I mean, if you go to the best restaurant in the world, some people don't like the food there. The best hotel, some people don't like their stay. It's impossible to have all 5 stars. I mean, we try for that, but it's impossible. Yeah, I agree. It's impossible to believe that they're all authentic.
Do you have some type of process how you're getting so many of these reviews?
We just, ask patients. I ask so many patients for reviews, and unfortunately, the vast majority, I mean, everyone says yes. I don't think I've ever had anyone say no, I won't do a review, but it's a small fraction that actually do the review. They go home and they live their life and they have a busy life, and it's just not on the top of their mind. If you can get the review done in the office, that's the best. If you ask them, they're willing to do it, and then are you in a rush? If they're not in a rush, would you mind doing it here because everyone gets busy and so many people just forget about it. And but it's hard because people are in a rush a lot of time. And but yeah, just ask a lot of patience and yeah,
I think that's the secret. You, the surgeon, asking the patient, they're much more inclined to say yes to you. And I will
yeah,
give you another strategy for making that happen more often because it's so true. When you have a patient in your world, you have to get everything out of that you possibly can,
yeah,
because the minute they go back into their own world, they're not there to grow your practice.
yeah,
So you have this limited attention span.
right.
So anyway, so let's talk about a crazy patient or staff story you care to share.
All right. So when I was in Hawaii in the Army, I did a rhinoplasty on an oral surgeon, really nice guy, great guy, did his surgery in the morning, probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I call to see how he's doing. I get his wife on the phone, and she says, "Let me go get him. He's out back." I'm like, "He's out back? He just had surgery." She said, "Yeah, he's building a tree house with the kids." So he was up in a tree, a couple of hours after having his rhinoplasty, general anesthesia, rhinoplasty, just totally crazy.
I had a rhino and I was not climbing trees afterwards.
Yeah, yeah. That's
That
not on the list of post-op instructions to build a tree house immediately after. I've had did a rhinoplasty on an anesthesiologist's wife, and she comes back a week after surgery to get her cast removed, but her cast is off. So I was like, "What happened to your cast?" Her husband, the anesthesiologist, took it off. They wanted to go out to dinner, so he decided he would take it off. So it's like a whole process that we use to take off a cast, so it's done properly, so you don't disturb, the work that was done. But the anesthesiologist, who knows nothing about, rhinoplasty, decided to take the cast off. Just yeah, some interesting things like that. I've had patients take their own stitches out.
But then when does the liability quit on your end? Golly. That's so,
I don't know. I don't
oh,
know.
that's one of your biggest challenges working with the public, you
Yeah.
know? Like I've had surgeons say, I'm not doing breast dog anymore because I get a call at 2 a.m. They're out of, like they're at the club saying, oh, I'm dancing my full head off and things, it's painful. And I think
Yeah.
you have to say to yourself, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, some people get it. Some people are reckless and they don't get it. And it's obviously if someone does something crazy, they fall out of a tree right after surgery. I didn't tell anybody to do that, but yeah, people can be reckless, unfortunately.
Yeah, but it's just so litigious nowadays, and it's never anybody else's fault. So it's going to be yours. And I feel for you people. You're ripe for taking, so you
Yeah,
have to
and
really
I keep my fingers crossed, but it hasn't been a huge issue at all. But keep our fingers crossed.
yeah, knock on wood on that one. So tell me something that we don't know about you. And in case you don't have anything, I found out that you are very interested. You have the regular hobbies like golfing and photography and skiing, but then you also are very into antique art glass. What
Yeah,
does it
yeah,
mean?
yeah. So I love Tiffany art class.
Oh,
Gallet and Dome are French art class. It's all Art Nouveau, from the early 1900s. My parents got me interested in antiques and art, um, and I just grew up with that and really have a passion for it. And it's great going to auctions and just being involved in that scene. It's really really interesting, and it's great to build a collection that you're really proud of, and you see every day, and it's really enjoyable.
what does a collection mean? Like, if I walked into your house, are there a bunch of Tiffany lamps or ceiling
Yeah,
lamps
yeah,
or
you see, lamps and vases, and yeah, that's the majority. Yeah,
really? Does your wife like it?
she does. She's not as obsessed as I am, but she enjoys it. Yeah,
I walked into somebody's house once and they had, those toy soldiers or whatever they call the soldiers, and
yeah.
the whole room was soldiers of every size,
Wow,
type, and they had huge soldiers, little soldiers, and I thought, oh, this is
that's funny.
crazy. Yeah. Is it like that? Like if somebody walked in would be, whoa, what's up with this?
Well, if you walked into my living room, you would see some Tiffany lamps and Tiffany glass, and they're lit well, and it's kind of like you might see in a gallery. But yeah, I think they're beautiful, and everyone who looks at them seems to agree. But yeah, it's a really great way to spend time. Again, traveling around the country, going to shows, antique shows, and auctions is fun.
Oh my God. You know what? You win on that one. I've done over almost 400 podcasts. I haven't heard that one yet. So
Okay.
I'm not going to be seeing you at these auctions. It's so not my thing, but enjoy. Yeah. So
Okay.
if anybody wanted to check out your website, it's facesculptormd.com. And then your Instagram is Dr. spelled out Pontell, and that's Pontell. Everybody, that is going to wrap it up for us today. Thanks so much for listening. And if you would please so kindly leave me a review and subscribe to Beauty in the Biz so we can grow our audience. And then if you've got any questions or feedback for me, or you want to check out my playbook, it's at my website at catherinemaley.com. Thanks so much, and we'll talk again soon. Hello, it's Catherine. If your practice feels busy but you're not seeing the growth you expected, there's usually a reason, and it's often something small that's quietly costing you revenue. That's why I offer a practice growth review. Now in this call, I'll take an objective look at your patient flow, conversion process, and retention strategies to identify where opportunities may be slipping through the cracks. You'll walk away with a clear picture of what's working, what's not, and the few changes that could make the biggest difference. If you'd like an unbiased set of expert eyes on your practice, simply visit catherinemaley.com to schedule your review.